So you've done everything you were supposed to do. You cleaned, you listed, and now you're waiting and waiting. And that for sale sign is starting to feel like a permanent part of the landscaping. Look, if that's you, you are definitely not alone. It's a super frustrating place to be. Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? Why in the world is my house not selling? Especially when you might still be hearing stories about how hot the market is. Well, the answer is usually a mix of things, not just one simple reason. But here's the good news. This is almost always a problem you can solve. Okay, first things first, we've got to understand the playing field. The real estate market has been on an absolute roller coaster for the last few years. And the reality is, things are shifting. A strategy that worked like a charm 2 years ago, it might just fall completely flat today. Let's just look at the numbers for a second, because they tell a fascinating story. See, median prices are holding steady, which on the surface sounds pretty good. But at the same exact time, mortgage rates have climbed and a lot more houses are coming on the market. Now, think about what this means for a buyer. They have more choices, but their budget is tighter. And that creates a much, much more competitive world for you as the seller. So, knowing that the market has gotten a little tougher, let's start to diagnose what might be going on with your specific property. These are the most common and, most importantly, the most fixable roadblocks that sellers run into. The reasons can range from the price being off and poor presentation to weak marketing or even just bad timing. Now, I know this might look like a long list of potential problems, but I really want you to see it as a checklist for solutions. We're going to focus on the key areas where you have the most control. All right, let's just cut right to the chase and talk about the single biggest factor of them all: price. This is, without a doubt, the number one reason a perfectly good home just sits on the market, gets ignored, and ultimately fails to sell. The data on this is it's staggering. Over half, let that sink in, half of all homes that fail to sell are simply priced too high from the very beginning. It's a tough pill to swallow, I get it, but the value isn't about what you think your house is worth or the number you need to get. It's about what the current market is willing to pay. That's it. And the difference in the outcome here is just stark. It's like two different worlds. On one path, an overpriced home gets ignored. It collects dust. It ends up with what agents call market fatigue. On the other path, a correctly priced home becomes a magnet for buyers. It can spark a bidding war, and it sells quickly. The goal is to get your home on that second path from day one. Okay, next up is presentation. Remember, you're not just selling a house, you're selling a potential future, a dream. And it's really hard for buyers to picture their dream life when they're looking at an untidy yard, an outdated kitchen, or just too much of your personal clutter everywhere. They don't see a home, they see a project. And projects cost money and effort they probably don't want to spend. But here's the solution, and the transformation can be incredible. A clean, decluttered, and well-staged space lets buyers mentally move in. It's like you're giving them a blank canvas to paint their own dream onto. And all of a sudden, the spaces feel larger, brighter, and way more valuable. This is how you sell a lifestyle, not just a building. So you've diagnosed the potential issues. Now what? Well, now you need a plan. So let's walk through a clear 4-step strategy to turn this whole thing around and get that sold sign up on the lawn. Here it is. It's a simple but really powerful checklist. 1. Analyze the market with fresh eyes. Look at what's actually sold nearby recently. 2. Seriously improve that presentation. Clean, declutter, maybe even stage a little. 3. Demand better marketing, because a quick cell phone picture just won't cut it anymore. And 4. Be flexible and strategic with your price. Listen to what the buyers are telling you through their actions, or lack thereof. But does this plan actually work? Let's move beyond theory and just look at the data, because the results you can get from these strategies are incredibly compelling. The data really speaks for itself here. On average, homes that are priced accurately sell within 30 days. Homes with professional staging, they don't just sell faster, they tend to sell for about 17% more. And great digital marketing, we're talking pro photos, maybe a virtual tour, that can boost your online views by 40%. This proves these aren't just expenses. They are investments in a faster, more profitable sale. And here's a real-world example that just ties it all together. Take the Johnson family. They were stuck for 3 long months. Nothing. So they followed the plan. They adjusted the price to be competitive, they staged the main rooms, and they relaunched with brand new marketing. The result? Their home sold in just 21 days, and it was for above their new asking price. This stuff really, really works. So if there's one crucial point to take away from this entire explainer, it's this. It all boils down to these three pillars: price, presentation, and marketing. If you can get these three things right, you dramatically shift the odds in your favor. They are the absolute core of every single successful sale. And that brings us to our final thought. As you finish up here, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question. Based on everything we've just covered, what is the single biggest change you can make today to get your home sold? Whether it's a tough conversation about a price adjustment, a weekend spent decluttering, or a call about new photos, the power to change the outcome is in your hands.